Their cars were found, but they were gone. No distress calls, no signs of a struggle, no reason to disappear. Just empty vehicles left behind on some of the most scenic highways in America, belongings still inside, doors closed, keys still there. It's as if they simply stepped out and vanished into thin air. No witnesses, no clear timeline, and in some cases, no trace was ever found. What really happens on these long, empty roads when no one is watching? Story 1. In late September of 1978, an elderly woman set out on a familiar desert drive through Northern California and into Nevada, an isolated route lined with mining roads, rocky drop-offs, and long stretches of silence. It was a journey she expected to complete in a single afternoon. Instead, the highway swallowed her without witnesses, leaving behind only a car, unanswered questions, and a mystery that still unsettles investigators decades later. Nan Dixon was 73 years old at the time of her disappearance. Born on August 4th, 1905, she was known to the family as Nanny Layton. Nan was small in stature, standing between 4 feet 8 inches and 4 feet 10 inches tall, with graying red hair and brown eyes. She lived in Grass Valley, California, and was described by loved ones as strong-willed, lively, and independent. Despite her age, she dressed conservatively, often in 1950s or 1960s style dresses, and maintained close ties with her family. There was nothing in her behavior to suggest she was depressed or planning to disappear. On September 21st, 1978, Nan left her home in Grass Valley to drive nearly 3 hours to Seven Troughs, Nevada, an unincorporated mining area near Lovelock. She planned to visit her brother, Harry Layton, his wife, Lulu, and their son. The purpose of the trip was business. Nan wanted to recover $6,000 she had invested years earlier in the family's gold mining operation. She was driving a lime green-yellow 4-door 1976 Datsun B210 with California license plate 915RHV. Nan planned to stop for dinner in Boomtown, Nevada. Along the way, she never arrived in Seven Troughs. Her family reported her missing shortly afterward. At the time, Pershing County authorities said they had no evidence Nan had entered their jurisdiction. Nearly 3 months later, Nan's husband received a credit card bill for $4.18 charged at a Texaco gas station in Lovelock near her intended destination. The charge renewed hope and triggered additional searches, but no sign of Nan was found. In November 1982, more than 4 years later, coyote hunters discovered Nan's car in a ravine below the Seven Troughs turnoff, 27 miles north of Lovelock. The area had been previously searched by air and ground. Tire tracks indicated the car had been deliberately driven off a rocky road into the ravine. The tires were badly scuffed but intact, and the gas tank was still half full. Inside the vehicle, investigators found disturbing anomalies. 4 empty cartons of cigarettes, though Nan was only a light smoker and the brands did not match hers. Black electrical tape was discovered, including a roll containing a hair and what appeared to be tissue. Possible blood stains were found on the trunk mat, a tire, and a rim, suggesting something had been transported in the trunk. An unsigned note was also found, which authorities later referenced when officially classifying the case as self-inflicted. Despite these inconsistencies, authorities officially classified the case as self-inflicted, a conclusion the family has continued to question. Nan's car was sold at auction, and over time, all physical evidence disappeared. Her family rejected the official self-inflicted classification and proposed alternative explanations, including foul play or Nan witnessing illegal activity in the remote mining region. Nan's family spent more than $40,000 searching for answers, hiring private investigators and psychics. The emotional toll was immense, compounded by the loss of evidence and the official closure of the case. Though authorities reopened the investigation in 2007, Nan's fate remains unknown. For her family, the absence of answers has stretched into generations. What if Nan Cecile Dixon never left her car voluntarily that day? And what if the truth was lost when the evidence disappeared? Story 2. Long-haul truckers call Interstate 80 through northern Nevada the Big Lonely, a vast, isolated stretch of highway where towns are sparse, nights are dark, and help can be hours away. In April 2011, along this remote corridor of desert and sagebrush, an elderly man and his loyal dog vanished after what should have been an ordinary drive home. No wreckage, no struggle, just an abandoned vehicle and a question that has lingered ever since. What happened on the Big Lonely? Patrick Francis Maloney Carnes was 86 years old when he disappeared, born on January 30th, 1925, in Cleveland, Ohio. Patrick, known as Pat to family and friends, was one of 7 children. He served as an aviation radio man in the U.S. Navy during World War II and was honorably discharged after active service in the Pacific. After the war, Patrick built a stable life. He married Margaret Haltom in 1949, and together they raised 4 children. He worked as a truck driver for a period before earning a business degree from UCLA, and later becoming a systems manager at the Rand Corporation. After retirement, Patrick and his wife moved to Reno, Nevada. When Margaret passed away in 2004, Patrick found companionship in an Akita Labrador mix named Lucky, who rarely left his side. Despite his age, Patrick was mentally sharp, independent, and healthy. Aside from a limp from an old leg injury, he loved traveling and routinely drove long distances alone, with Lucky beside him. In April 2011, Patrick drove from Reno to Ohio to visit family and explore retirement housing options. After several days, he began the return trip home. On the evening of April 13, 2011, just outside Wells, Nevada, Patrick was stopped by a Nevada Highway Patrol trooper for a minor traffic violation. Dash camera footage shows Patrick alert, polite, and coherent. During the stop, he told the trooper he was following a semi-truck because the driver was headed to Elko, where Patrick planned to stay overnight. The trooper issued a warning and released him shortly after 9 p.m. Before leaving, Patrick joked that he would never drive at night again. That was the last confirmed sighting of Patrick Carnes. Just before 6 a.m. the next morning, his green Subaru Forester was found abandoned off Interstate 80 near the Pumpernickel Valley exit, close to Winnemucca, roughly 200 miles from Reno. The vehicle was operable, had fuel, and showed no signs of a crash or struggle. Patrick's belongings were reportedly inside. Patrick and Lucky were gone. The Humboldt County Sheriff's Department launched extensive ground and aerial searches, deploying dogs, helicopters, and volunteers across the surrounding desert. No physical evidence was recovered. Investigators were troubled by Patrick's statement about following a trucker, particularly how he knew the truck's destination. The semi-truck seen on dash camera footage was never identified. Authorities also noted similarities to another case. In 2006, a different vehicle belonging to a missing woman was found abandoned at the same exit. While no official link has been confirmed, the coincidence raised questions. Theories have included accidental exposure, foul play, or an encounter with an unknown individual. None have been substantiated. Patrick's family immediately sensed something was wrong. He was reliable and always checked in after long drives. His son later described the investigation as feeling stuck in neutral. Over the years, the family has continued to seek answers, holding on to hope while accepting uncertainty. Patrick was legally declared deceased in 2014, though no explanation for his disappearance has ever been found. What if the key to Patrick Carnes' disappearance lies with the unidentified truck he was following that night? And what if the silence of the Big Lonely has hidden answers still waiting to be uncovered? Story 3. Highway 108 cuts through California's Sierra Nevada, winding past steep drop-offs, rushing rivers, and scenic overlooks that draw anglers and hikers year-round. In early October 2016, this stretch of road became the last known setting in the disappearance of a man who knew the area well. What was believed to be a routine fishing trip ended without a return and without answers. Breck Phelps was an adult resident of California, known among friends as independent and outdoors-oriented. He enjoyed fishing and frequently spent time near rivers and trails in Tuolumne County, areas he had visited before without incident. Those who knew Breck described him as capable and familiar with the terrain, someone comfortable spending time alone in nature. Fishing was not unusual for him, and when he planned trips, they rarely raised concern. That familiarity with the outdoors made his disappearance especially troubling to those closest to him. Breck was last seen on October 1st, 2016. Friends believed he had gone on a fishing trip and expected him to return home by October 2nd. When he failed to do so and could not be reached, concern began to grow. A short time later, a friend located Breck's vehicle, a 2007 Nissan Versa, parked along Highway 108 in Tuolumne County. The car was found approximately a quarter-mile from Donnell Vista Point, near a trail Breck had reportedly used before when fishing along the Stanislaus River. There were no obvious signs of damage to the vehicle, and nothing immediately suggested an emergency. However, Breck himself was nowhere to be found. Authorities determined that he had likely gone fishing along the river and never returned ashore. Once Breck was reported missing, Tuolumne County authorities launched an extensive search operation. Multiple agencies from surrounding counties, including Calaveras, Alpine, Fresno, and Stanislaus, joined the effort. Search and rescue teams scoured the area by land, air, and water. A National Guard Black Hawk helicopter and a California Highway Patrol helicopter conducted aerial searches, while the Tuolumne County Sheriff's Office Swift Water Technical Team rappelled into the river and nearby crevices, checking difficult-to-reach areas along the Stanislaus River. Despite these coordinated efforts, no sign of Breck was found. After several days, officials announced that the active search would be scaled back. While there was no indication of criminal involvement, the case was formally handed over to the Sheriff's Office Detective Unit as a missing person investigation. One prevailing theory is that Breck may have experienced an accident near or in the river, possibly swept away by strong currents. The Stanislaus River is known for cold temperatures, uneven footing, and powerful flow. Conditions that can quickly become dangerous. However, without physical evidence, this remains only a possibility. No definitive conclusions have been reached. For Breck's friends and loved ones, the lack of answers has been especially difficult. Fishing was something he had done before, in places he knew well, making it hard to understand how he could simply vanish. As the search transitioned into an open-ended investigation, those who cared about him were left to live with uncertainty, waiting for information that may never come. Authorities have continued to encourage anyone with information, no matter how small, to come forward in hopes of bringing clarity to what happened. What if a small, unseen accident along the river changed everything in a matter of moments? And what if the answers to Breck Phelps' disappearance remain hidden in terrain too unforgiving to reveal them? Story 4. State Route 108 climbs over Sonora Pass through the Sierra Nevada, offering dramatic overlooks, steep canyon walls, and long stretches of isolated roadway. In August 2005, this scenic route became the last known destination of a woman who set out on what was meant to be a simple one-day trip. She planned to shop, enjoy the scenery, and return home by evening. Instead, she vanished along one of the most striking overlooks on the highway. Nita Mayo was 75 years old at the time of her disappearance. Born and raised in England, she later married an American Air Force serviceman and moved to the United States, eventually settling in Hawthorne, Nevada. She was a licensed practical nurse employed at Mount Grant General Hospital Clinic, where co-workers described her as dependable and compassionate. Nita was close with her children, Cindy, Shelley, Tracy, and Pete, and maintained regular contact with family and friends. She was physically and mentally healthy and known for her independence. Travel and sightseeing were long-standing interests, and she often took short road trips to enjoy nature, especially in the Sierra Nevada. Her loved ones emphasized that it was entirely normal for her to take a solo day trip, and entirely uncharacteristic for her not to return or notify anyone. On the morning of August 8, 2005, Nita was last seen at her residence on Park Street in Hawthorne, Nevada. She told a friend she was taking a one-day shopping and sightseeing trip over the Sierra Nevada mountains, traveling west via Sonora Pass on State Route 108. She planned to return that evening and report to work the following day. Nita is believed to have left home around 11 a.m. when she failed to show up for work on August 9th and could not be reached. Concern grew. On August 10th, a Tuolumne County Sheriff's Sergeant located her silver 1997 Mercury Sable station wagon at Donnell Vista, a scenic overlook just outside Sonora, California. The vehicle was locked with the keys inside. Her purse, wallet, cellular phone, eyeglasses, and souvenirs from the Strawberry General Store were all found inside the car. Only her camera and prescription sunglasses were missing. There was no sign of Nita at the scene. Authorities determined the car had been parked at Donnell Vista since the day of her disappearance. The overlook sits above a canyon approximately 1,000 feet deep. Search efforts began immediately and expanded over weeks and months. Searchers rappelled down steep terrain, used helicopters, all-terrain vehicles, and search dogs, and combed the surrounding forest and canyon. Dogs detected no scent beyond the area immediately around the car. Investigators stated there was no evidence of a struggle at the scene. In September 2005, authorities announced they were seeking Jewel Jean Rice for possible information related to the case, though she was not named a suspect. Rice reportedly experienced vehicle trouble in the area on the day Nita disappeared and later left the region without her car. Nita's family has consistently questioned accidental explanations, noting her fear of heights and the absence of physical evidence supporting a fall. No definitive conclusion has been reached. Nita's children traveled from across the country to assist in the search and remained actively involved for months. Friends and co-workers distributed flyers, organized vigils, and kept her story visible. Over time, memorials were placed at Donnell Vista and the Strawberry Store. Though Nita was declared legally deceased in 2013, her family continues to seek answers. For them, the lack of clarity has been a lasting burden, one carried quietly, year after year. What if Nita Mayo encountered someone along the highway who changed the course of her day? And what if the truth about her disappearance remains hidden along a scenic road meant to be remembered for beauty, not loss? Story 5. Interstate 80 cuts across northern Nevada through wide desert basins and long, empty stretches locals sometimes call the Big Lonely. Exit ramps appear miles apart, often leading only to dirt roads, open land, and silence. In February 2006, one of these rarely used exits became the last confirmed location connected to a woman who left home and was never seen again. Her disappearance later echoing another case tied to the same isolated stretch of highway. Judith Ellen Casida was an adult woman living in Reno, Nevada at the time of her disappearance. Those who knew her described a private person who maintained ties with family members living in Oregon. She was married, though records indicate she had been experiencing personal stress related to her marriage and life circumstances. Judith was independent and capable of managing her daily affairs. There was no indication she planned to leave permanently, abandon her responsibilities, or cut off contact with loved ones. Her routines and financial patterns prior to her disappearance showed no signs of preparation for a long-term absence. Judith Casida was last seen on February 14, 2006, leaving her residence in Reno, Nevada. She was driving a white 1991 Mazda pickup truck bearing Nevada license plate number 920NRH. After that day, she was never heard from again. For several weeks, there were no confirmed sightings, communications, or financial activity linked to Judith. Then, on March 5, 2006, her pickup truck was discovered abandoned at the exit 205 Pumpernickel Valley ramp off Interstate 80 near Winnemucca, Nevada. The vehicle showed no obvious signs of damage, collision, or forced entry. Judith herself was nowhere to be found. There were no witnesses who reported seeing her at the exit ramp, and no confirmed timeline placing her there beyond the discovery of the vehicle. Law enforcement investigated the scene and surrounding desert terrain, but no physical evidence was located that explained Judith's disappearance. Authorities confirmed there had been no activity on her bank accounts since she vanished, and no verified sightings were reported after February 14th. Investigators acknowledged the unusual coincidence that Patrick Carnes' vehicle would later be found abandoned at the same Interstate 80 exit in 2011. However, officials have consistently stated there is no evidence directly linking the two cases. Judith had left behind a note at her residence indicating she was struggling emotionally with her personal life. Authorities referenced this note when assessing the case, but emphasized that it did not provide definitive answers regarding what happened after she left home. Theories have ranged from voluntary disappearance to third-party involvement, but no theory has been supported by conclusive evidence. The remote nature of the area, combined with limited surveillance and low traffic, has made reconstruction of events extremely difficult. Judith's family has endured years of uncertainty, made heavier by the absence of physical evidence or clear answers. With no financial activity, no confirmed sightings, and no recovered remains, they have been left to live with unresolved questions rather than closure. Her case has been featured in missing persons databases and referenced in broader discussions about disappearances along Interstate 80. While public attention has occasionally resurfaced, the passage of time has not brought clarity. For her loved ones, Judith remains more than a case number. She is someone who left home one day and never returned. What if Judith Casida encountered something unexpected along a stretch of highway known for its isolation? And what if the truth about her disappearance remains hidden somewhere along Interstate 80's empty miles? These disappearances did not happen in hidden places, but along open roads traveled by thousands. When no witnesses remain and no explanations surface, families are left navigating grief without direction. For them, the journey never truly ends. Only the questions do. This is Vanished Stories, where the missing are never forgotten.